Are you feeling a little bit stressed that the holiday season is just too busy and you have no downtime? Or you are going to lose it this holiday season, that you're going to get into a fight with someone and you just don't know how to deal with it? Then this episode is for you.
You're listening to the Dynamic Women podcast. Each week, you'll be inspired by our global community of women. They'll share with you tools and stories to help you be dynamic in every area of life. Here's your host, award-winning coach, and the CEO and founder of Dynamic Women, Diane Rolston.
Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host, and today we are going to be talking about what to do when you're annoyed this holiday season. Now, why do we get annoyed? Well, we might get annoyed for many reasons. We might get annoyed because people are late for a specific event, for dinner. Maybe we're annoyed because people aren't helping out. Maybe we're annoyed because just there's so much going on and we're going back to back between different events or different tasks that we want to do. Could also be that we are stressed and annoyed because we can't do the things that we want to do. And so it's just not feeling like the holidays that we want it to be like. Now, in previous episodes, I have spoken about how to design the holiday. What do you want the essence of the holiday to be like? How to plan all of that in advance. And today I want to focus more on what do you do when you're actually annoyed? What do you do when you're frustrated, when you're in the moment of it just all being too much? And give you some solutions to that. So first off, why do we feel annoyed this holiday season? Why do we feel annoyed at different times? No matter what the situation, a lot of times we're annoyed because some of our values are being dishonored. And by values, I don't mean morals. I mean values in the way of things that we hold near and dear, things that we'd be willing to get on a soapbox and fight for, to speak up about. And it might be things like being prompt or being on time or being a helpful person, being a team player. Joy could be another value of yours, or being playful. And so can you imagine someone who loves to be just in the flow and that's their value, and another person's value of being on time, how they can truly butt heads? Now, in the moment, you're not going to be like, oh, my values are being dishonored, or it's because their values are that way. And I get that. And so when I work with my clients, they understand their values, they start to pick up on these things. But if you don't know what your values are, you haven't done the values assessment, then here are some steps that you can take in the meantime. First, listen to your intuition. Listen to how you're feeling. You're maybe having this knot in your stomach, or you start to tense up, or you just get, like you're going to fume and you're just so short with people. Really check in and be like, what is the feeling that I'm having? Is it disappointment? Is it anger? Is it frustration? You have to name the feeling so that you can start to see what it's connected to. So once you have that feeling locked in, then you can look to where did it come from? What triggered it? And if the feeling part is hard for you, then this question would be your first question. What has caused me to feel bad? And then once you figure out what caused you to feel bad, you can then figure out what the feeling is underneath it. So now it's clear as to why you're feeling bad. What caused this for you? And so if I go back to my previous examples of someone is late, or someone is not being helpful for making the Christmas dinner, whatever it may be, if you look at that and now ask yourself, what is it about that is so annoying for me? Well, when people are late, then that means it's holding up everyone else, and that's disrespectful. Or when people are late, it means we miss out on maybe watching the start of a play, a concert, or even Christmas service. And so that example, or the other example of someone not helping you with the meal, it could mean that it's stressful for you, or that you're unable to enjoy the day because you feel like you're just slaving away in the kitchen. So you know you're feeling, you know how that's impacting you. And maybe if you've done the values exercise, you know which of your values is being dishonored. you're now at the point that you get to make the decision of, do I share this with others? Do I share this with the person that's annoying me? Do I let them know? That's the decision that you get to make. If I look at the two examples, again, someone being late, if you share with them, hey, because you're late, that this has caused this to happen, you might get a good response, especially if this is someone who cares about you as equally as you care about them. And this brings me into the point of redesigning relationships. So there might be some redesigning that needs to happen. If you do have a bad relationship with someone in your family, you might need to redesign before any situations come up at Christmas time or in the holiday season. But if you share with them in a way that is just genuine and honest, without lots of emotion, just really stating the facts, they might change their ways. And if you're also thinking, oh man, I don't have to tell people this, I don't have to design relationships or redesign relationships over the holidays, then if you go into things kind of predicting that certain things could happen, then try to mitigate that from the beginning. Try to set yourself up for success. If you know certain people are going to be late, maybe tell them a certain earlier time for them to come, or tell them how important it is or the reason why you really want them there to be at a specific time. And if it is around something like helping out, then really set chores or set tasks or ask people in advance to do specific things. You don't have to make the whole dinner yourself. If you're bringing people in for dinner, then invite them to bring something with them. They're always asking, like, what can I bring? What can I bring? Actually tell them what they can bring so you don't get 50 bottles of wine. Instead, you get maybe 5 dishes and 5 bottles of wine. That might make your night or your day a lot easier. And if you're feeling like, I don't want to make a big deal of it, I just want to, brush it under the rug sort of thing, just take note of how you're feeling. Also, what is bothering you, and see if in the moment you can get some support or get some help or really solve the issue at hand. So if you're annoyed that someone's not being helpful, invite them to help you. If you're feeling like you're slaving away in the kitchen, then take a break and go and sit out with everyone and enjoy their company. If you don't like how people rip open presents and leave the paper all over the floor, then get a garbage bag and pick up as you go. Make a fun game of it, like let's roll it into a ball and see if we can get into the recycling box. Whatever it may be, deal with it in the moment so that it doesn't ruin your whole day. So what do you do when you're annoyed this holiday season? Check in with your feelings and the cause of what's annoying you, and then express with others the impact of that. You might have to design or redesign relationships. If you want to know more about that, I encourage you to pick up the Dynamic You program book so that you can read the whole chapter on collaboration, where I talk about designing and redesigning with family members, friends, colleagues, business partners, whoever it may be. It is 5-star review time, and this one comes from Michelle Abraham. She titles this Dynamic and Inspiring. Love the guests, and I love Diane's down-to-earth, no-nonsense approach to business. I am a part of her Dynamic Women Global Club. I highly recommend it. This podcast is awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, for that review. We've actually interviewed Michelle before on the podcast and at our different summits and events because of her wealth of knowledge of podcasting. And thanks to Michelle, she actually helped to launch this podcast. How cool, eh? So, Michelle, you're going to be getting a little something in the mail. And if you would like to also get something in the mail, then please write us a 5-star review. And then when we read it on the air, we will send you a little something. If you have heard your review on air, please email my team at dianerolston.com. And check the show notes for more information about the Dynamic Women Global Club. So that concludes this episode. I encourage you to let me know how this goes for you. Put a comment below if you are going to do these steps, or if you have done these steps. Share the story with me of how it worked out for you. And if this causes you to have some other questions, please drop them below, and I'll either reach out to you personally or I will answer it in a future podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe, like this, share it with a friend. And until next time, stay dynamic. Bye.
Thank you, Dynamic Women, for joining us today. Please hop on over to iTunes to subscribe and leave us a review. Who do you know who needs to hear our message? We'd love it if you'd share our channel with your friends and family. If you're ready to be more dynamic, have more balance and more success, head over to www.dynamicwomenclub.com/free gift for your Key to Success book. Stay dynamic.